So you kind of unlocked like a core memory for me, like in the last episode.
Really?
Like, because we were talking about like collecting Longaberger baskets like my mom does.
Yeah.
Did you ever collect anything like when you were younger? Like not like rocks or like just like, did you ever like something that you were supposed to collect? Like, you know, you would go to like certain places, they would have like the pennies where you could like put 50 cents in and
Yeah. My kid
flatten
loves
the pen.
those.
The one thing that I used to collect, and I'm pretty sure my mom still has them, I'll have to see if I can talk to her and find where they are. We used to collect guitar pins from Hard Rock Cafe.
Okay.
So like,
It's shaped like a guitar, right? It has Hard Rock on it.
Yeah, but it would be, everyone was unique to where it was. Because, you know, there was Hard Rock Cafes all over the place.
Yeah.
Like,
I had one of those at one point in time. I had like a maroon, like red colored guitar that was from the Hard Rock in Myrtle Beach.
Okay. I mean, wherever they were, they had specific pins that you could buy.
Yeah.
And we had like a shadow box full of them. I forget
That's cool.
how many pins that my mom and I had. Because she traveled a lot for work when I was in school.
Yeah.
So she would be all over the place. So as they were in places, or she would have people that would go to places. I think we had some from overseas. Like,
Wow.
I forget where.
That's cool.
Yeah. I'll have to do a follow up and figure out.
I don't know that mine is that cool. But my collection thing when I was young, outside of like the normal stuff like baseball cards and that kind of crap, was tractors. Because my dad was a farmer. We were a John Deere family, right? So like all of our tractors were John Deere and stuff. And so there was a John Deere store that was on Highway 301 close to where I grew up. And every year for Christmas I got a tractor.
Okay.
And so different like sizes and styles and everything. And so I collected those, but then like it got to a point where like people would like bring me tractors, like, you know, family members and stuff like that would
Right.
get them for me. And so I had a massive box at one point in time, and I don't know where it ended up at. I'll have to check with my mom and see, because it might still be out in storage for all I know. But good lord, who would want to see that thing now? But yeah, there was like a ton of these, like this. It's kind of like those. I don't know if it's called die cast or if that's the right word for it, but like those metal tractors and stuff like that.
Yeah, the die cast. Yeah.
Came with all the accessories, the whole 9 yards with them. They were really cool. I used to play with those when I was little. So you ready for a little mini celebration for us today?
Yes.
This is actually like really kind of cool because I got interested in this because I heard somebody mention these statistics to me not too long ago. First off, I want to congratulate you and I in being in the top 10% of podcasts.
I'm sorry, what?
What I mean by that is 90% of podcasts never make it past episode 3.
Really?
Yeah. So us being on episode 10 right now, like that's what we're recording right now, is huge.
Really?
And yeah, so we're officially in the top 10% of podcasts.
Of all podcasts.
Of all podcasts, yeah, of all podcasts. And so let's take it a step further.
Okay.
We only have 11 more episodes to go from right now. So if we get to
Episode
episode 21, we will be in the top 1% of podcasts.
That?
So
Really?
Yeah. 99% of podcasts never make it to episode 21.
That's crazy.
So we're already in the top 10. Top 10%.
That's crazy.
So, hey, right now, if you're one of our regular listeners, you are a part of one of the top 10% of podcasts in the
all
world
of
right
podcasting.
now. Yeah. Congratulations.
That's awesome.
You guys helped us to do this.
Which is like, again, this is crazy because it's just two friends that
Just,
have a bunch of random stuff going on in their head. And,
just like to talk about things.
yeah.
So here we are. I thought that was a really fun way for us to be able to open up today's episode, is to celebrate a little bit that we're killing it. We're doing a good thing. So,
Well, on that note, good morning, Josh.
Good morning, Josh.
Recognize me? No? Well, I'm Josh. I got suspended from school because of Josh.
You're going to be there with me in every way imaginable, Josh.
Josh is truly in a trance, yes.
I went to high school with Josh, and I can tell you right now, he's a terrific kisser.
Hi, I'm Josh.
Josh, these are people's jobs we're talking about, Josh.
Josh walking in the door wasn't even close.
Josh, you are a muffin-snuggling pirate puncher.
Josh is a good guy. We can talk to him.
Please welcome Joshua.
Can I just say, and this you might not like this, but the big cans of Celsius, the flavors are garbage.
Oh, it doesn't bother me at all.
Okay.
I'm an Alani guy.
Okay. Well, I know that you were
We were on a Celsius kick for a hot minute because I was thinking
because it was on sale at Sam's Club.
because it was on sale at Sam's Club, and because like at least at that point in time, everybody was like, Celsius is the most like healthy energy drink you can get. Now they found out that like Celsius is like killing everybody. So I quickly cut those out. But I like the flavors of Alani. So Alani Cherry Slush and Cosmic Stardust are probably like two of my favorite flavors of energy drinks. I will say though, what's Reign's one that they came out with? Storm.
Yes.
So the Reign Storm, the tropical fruit one of theirs, that's a tasty drink too.
And it's so funny because I love Monster. I've always loved Monster.
Yeah.
I drink the zeros, the Ultra Zeros, because I try not to do sugar like I do like Diet Pop or Zero Sugar Pop.
Yeah, same for me.
But
I don't do any energy drinks with sugar in them. I got a funny story about that, but go ahead. What you say?
Well, because I was looking because Monster came out with 2 new flavors. They came out with the Ultra Blue Hawaiian, which I love because it tastes like gummy sharks.
Yeah, you let me try that one last time. That is a really good one.
But they also came out with the Viking Berry juiced Monsters.
Okay.
I looked at how much sugar was in that.
Yeah.
It was like 96% of your daily intake of sugar.
Okay.
In one can.
Are you ready for me to blow your mind?
Go ahead.
So, we have our friend Angel that goes to church with us, right?
Okay.
You've met Angel a few times. He is originally from Nicaragua.
Right.
So he came here back in June. Since then, he pays like really close attention to like and everything that's going on because he's still learning American culture and all that kind of stuff. I think that they were taken back by the energy drink consumption in America, which I'm like, yeah, I get it. Like we do kind of go crazy on it. But he sees me every Sunday at least, and most of the time when I go to like pick them up and stuff to go places,
right?
He has seen me with energy drinks, and so he stopped by the office week and a half ago, something like that, and he comes in and he has 2 Monsters, like regular OG black can Monsters in his hand. And he gave them to me, and I think from what I could gather, I think somebody just gave them to him at work. He doesn't drink energy drinks at all, and so he was like, so I'll just give these to Josh, right? That's what he thought, and I'm like, it's a sweet gesture.
Yeah, it's a thought.
I love that.
Yeah.
So he gives them to me, and I just like as soon as he gave them to me, I thanked him a lot. You know, that means a lot to me that you would think of me in that sense. And I took the 2 cans and went and put them in the mini fridge at the office, and was like, you know, there'll come a time and I'll drink them, whatever, that kind of deal. So just 3 days ago, I think it was 2 days ago, I was, mid-afternoon slump. I hadn't had any caffeine that day, and I was like, all right, maybe I'll knock out one of these Monsters. I went back there and picked that can up. Do you know how much sugar is in a regular, like, OG Monster?
OG Monster, probably, we're talking grams.
Well, just give me a daily like amount that you're supposed to have. You know what I'm saying? Like what you were just talking about, 98%, right? Give me a daily recommended amount percentage of what you think is.
I would say probably 70 grams of sugar.
What percentage do you think it is? Like of your daily allowance of sugar?
Of that one, like that one?
Yeah.
Probably like 110.
158.
Yo.
% of your daily recommended intake of sugar.
Like I'm so glad that I don't do like sugary drinks anymore.
Yeah, same. Like that. Like I looked at that can and was like, I couldn't do it. I put it back in the fridge and was like, I'll have to give these away to somebody because like I cannot drink that amount of sugar on top of 160 milligrams of caffeine or whatever it is. It's like
no wonder people like crash when they drink regular energy drinks.
You talk about just like type 2 diabetes in a can.
But they do make the OG Monster in a zero sugar.
Yeah.
Which is actually, it tastes just like the OG Monster.
OG. I didn't really care for the OG Monster anyways, but like it'd been a long time since I drank one. I mean, like a long time. Right. And so I was just like, yeah, why not? Like I'll give it a shot. I picked it up and looked at the sugar content, and I was like, I just can't do it, man. Yeah. Like, I'm going to have to go get an insulin shot.
Well, it's funny because, like, I think I was at Dollar General, and I picked up Diet Dr. Pepper and Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar.
Yeah.
As much crap as you and I give Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
And people that drink Dr. Pepper, not an attack, Just saying. Like, a lot of people like Dr. Pepper is their personality. I think that Diet Dr. Pepper and Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar taste better than regular Dr. Pepper.
Really?
Like, as good. Like, they are the only soda company that I feel that their Diet and Zero Sugar taste just like the original.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that was the commercial when Diet Dr. Pepper first came out. I remember it was like, Diet Dr. Pepper tastes more like regular Dr. Pepper, tell your friends. Like, that was the commercial.
Yeah.
And, like, it had been so long since I had Diet Dr. Pepper. I was like, this is actually, like, better.
Wow. Okay. So I got to offer a point of clarification since we've been doing our thing of like making sure we're correct on things.
Mm-hmm.
The OG 16 ounce cans.
So not even the wait. What is it?
That's a 16 ounce.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like a 16 ounce can that size has 108%. It's 54 grams of sugar in the OG Monster, but the ones that I have at the office are the 20 ounce, and so it's like close to like 150 like percent or something like that of your daily intake of sugar. I'm like, but still like 108% on a regular can, like a 16 ounce can. That's crazy.
It is incredibly dumb.
That's nuts. So as we jump into the rest of this, I wanted to throw out a question for you today before we run into the rest of our stuff. My question for you to start kind of jump into this podcast is from our friend AJ. He left this as a comment on one of our social media posts. I've got a bunch of questions from him that we'll go through over time and stuff like that. But this is a simple one, and so I thought maybe this would be a good one. It wouldn't take up too much time for us. If a gorilla and a grizzly bear get into a fight, who's winning? Like, who do you think takes the cake in that one?
See, I don't know. Like, my gut instinct is a grizzly bear.
Is the grizzly?
Because it's so much bigger than a gorilla.
Size-wise, yeah, I would say. Like,
And I think intelligence-wise, like, I got to give it to the gorilla. Like, I'm like literally like taking like a checklist down like in my mind of like strengths and stuff like that. Like, I don't.
So just to give like so for a grizzly bear can weigh up to 1,000 pounds. The typical males weigh 400 to 600 pounds.
And the females are bigger.
No, females are smaller. They're 250 to 350 pounds, and they usually can stand up to 8 feet tall. So 8 foot's kind of like the highest on that one. And then the gorilla.
I guess it would also determine on which, like, is it a silverback gorilla? Is it
Right. So for a silverback gorilla, eastern gorilla, which is a silverback, they can weigh up to 484 pounds. So the deficit's not. I mean, it's a little bit, but it's not huge. So up to 500 pounds and can stand up to 6 feet tall. So you're talking about a 2 foot height difference between the grizzly and the gorilla,
and a maximum of like 500 pounds.
Maximum of 500 pounds difference, but the average
is roughly
for the difference is going to be they're right around the same because the high for an adult grizzly is 600 pounds, and the typical high for the gorilla is 500. So you're talking about a 100-pound difference.
Man, but I could also see like the gorilla coming down out of a tree on top of the grizzly bear's back, and like, that's a scary thought. A gorilla riding a grizzly bear,
right? So for me, the two things, the gorilla charging in the battle with the bear.
That's our next AI image for our episode.
I love that. But you think about like for me, the big decision makers are the intelligence and the opposable thumbs of the gorilla versus the ferocity and the claws of the grizzly bear. And so when we think about like I don't know, man, I'm like a 50-50 shot on who's taking the win in that one.
Right, like this is like actually like a harder question than I was like thinking.
Yeah, because you think about the gorilla with its intelligence has the ability to use tools in a sense. So if he picks up like a big old log and starts cracking that grizzly bear across the head and stuff, I don't know. It could be kind of a closer fight than I think most people want to give him credit for. Plus, you ever see those silverbacks when they open their mouths? Those guys got some teeth.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, they're not like grizzly bear teeth, but they got teeth nonetheless. I wouldn't want to be chewed on by one of them. I can tell you that much.
Guess which has a stronger bite force?
The gorilla. See.
So I just looked it up.
Don't underestimate Magilla.
So a grizzly bear has a bite force of 975 psi.
Okay.
A silverback gorilla has a 1,300 PSI
1,300 pounds per square inch.
bite force.
That's nothing to shake a stick at.
That's a significant.
See, I think, man, I'm going for mobility, intelligence, the whole nine. I'm thinking the gorilla.
Yeah, like the more I'm thinking about it, the more, yeah, because that bite force is stronger than obviously a grizzly bear.
Yeah.
But also almost, well, it's double the bite strength of a lion
Right.
and double the strength of a great white shark.
Yeah. And you think about too, like I know so much of it depends on what's the environment that they're fighting in and all that kind of stuff. You know, if they're in the woods, I feel like the gorilla definitely has the advantage then, because using trees and all that kind of stuff and potentially sticks to pick up.
Because I'm not sure, I'm not 100% sure. I know black bears can, but I don't think grizzlies can climb trees.
No, I don't believe so.
I know black bears can.
That's why they always say, like, if you're camping somewhere where there's grizzlies, you tie your food up high because they can't climb up and get to it. But yeah, that was an interesting question, AJ. I appreciate you throwing that out there for us. But yeah, I'm throwing gorilla for the win.
Now I'm down a rabbit hole that I can't stop. A silverback gorilla can lift up to 815 kilograms of dead weight.
815 kilograms.
Yes.
Wow. So that's like 1,600 pounds, is it not?
The maximum, a well-trained human can lift a maximum of 410.
Which is like 800 pounds. Yeah, I think it's almost like double. Like it's a little over double is what kilograms to pounds.
Right. Hang on.
Transitions to. So, that's like 1,600 pounds. Yeah. Dude, gorillas are just a whole unit. just tromping around the forest.
Whoa. Yeah, 1,800 pounds is 815 kilos.
Yeah. Gorilla's got it.
Yeah.
That's my choice.
Yeah, I'm in full agreement with you. That's crazy.
So there you go, AJ. If you and a coworker were arguing over that, you can tell them the Joshes think the gorilla's got it down pat. So until we get enough money to get a grizzly bear and a gorilla and put them in a cage together, we'll have to wait and see. Right. That's what we're sticking with. So cool. You got something for me today?
I do. So this is something that I've been wanting to do for a while.
Okay.
So there was a TV show that was hosted by a very famous comedian by the name of Jeff Foxworthy called "Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?"
Oh my gosh! All right.
So I wanted to ask
another
you.
Make Josh feel dumb.
No,
day.
because like some of these are harder. Like some of these, I'm like, and then I saw the answer. I'm like, oh wow, I did not pay attention in school at all.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
So I figured I would ask you some "Are you smarter than a fifth grader?" questions.
Yeah.
And
which I can almost guarantee you I'm not.
Feel free, like you can always pull these out and do these and give these to me too, or something other like that.
Okay.
All right. So, first question. We'll start off easy. So, what is the 2-letter abbreviation for the word doctor?
DR.
Correct.
The bad thing about tests like this is it makes you second guess everything that you think you know. Like I'm sitting there going like, is there another abbreviation for doctor that I don't know about?
Okay. True or false? And this is going to be another one where I'm going to get attacked.
Okay.
Crawfish are fish. True or false?
False.
Correct. They are. Do you know what they are?
They're crustaceans?
Correct.
See, look at me go.
Look at you. All right.
Hey, fifth graders out there.
All right. Density describes the mass of an object divided by what?
Density
describes the mass of an object. Divided by what?
Ooh. You got to let me think about this for a second.
Okay.
So
density.
Density, how dense something is divide is wait. Say it again. I got to think about this.
Density describes the mass of an object divided by what? So mass divided by what gives you the density?
Mass divided by weight. Or
you want another guess?
Maybe. Gravity?
That's weight.
Well, gravity and weight are not necessarily the same thing. Like the force of gravity versus the weight of an object is two different things.
So no. One more guess?
The mass of an object divided by pi. I don't know, man. No,
volume.
By volume? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Volume times mass equals density.
See, I think one of the mistakes that I always made when it came to physics class was equating mass and volume together, like in my mind. that they are the same thing. So
Okay.
okay, that makes sense.
The U.S. Naval Academy is located in what city? We've talked about this on an episode.
Where the U.S. Naval Academy is?
Yes.
Man, I'm never gonna get that. Like I said, I'm terrible with geography stuff, so I don't know.
If you give me the state,
Washington D.C. No, I'm just kidding.
if you give me the state, I'll count it. I mean, think of where there's water. I mean,
Well, yeah, there's a lot of states that have water though. The U.S. Naval Academy.
Salt Lake City, Utah. No.
For me, it seems like it's between two states, and I'm probably gonna be wrong. For me, it's either Virginia
Okay.
or Florida.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say Virginia.
Close. Maryland.
Is it okay?
It's in.
I was at least in the ballpark
Yeah,
area,
it's in Annapolis, Maryland.
Okay, because I'm thinking like they wouldn't put it too far away from DC and all that kind of stuff because you got higher ups and everything.
Right.
But,
Well,
okay.
and you have like Norfolk.
I don't feel too
Virginia.
bad about that.
Like
one.
Virginia, I can get it because you have Norfolk. That's a huge naval base and things like that.
Yep.
All right. A word, phrase, or sequence that reads the same forward and backward is called what?
Gosh.
So like race car is one of these.
Yeah. I know what this is, but I can't bring that word to mind.
Starts with a P.
Pseudonym, right? No, not pseudonym. That's a different name.
See, my dumb brain was like, no, this starts with an S. And
Yeah. I know this word. And
it kind of sounds like a class that Thicken was in D&D. What class was Thicken in D&D?
I thought he was a druid. Was I wrong on that?
That was Rogax. That was Mason's character.
Okay, yeah. Crap. Man, this sucks. Now I do feel dumb. I was making fun of fifth graders a while ago.
A palindrome.
Palindrome. Okay. Yeah,
Paladin.
Yeah, paladin. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right.
If I'd thought long and hard about it, I probably could have gotten there. But
All right. Here's going back to easier ones. All right. According to the U.S. Constitution, the president is part of which of the three branches of government?
all right, so I'm going to list off the branches. It's legislative,
Yep.
judicial, and then this is where I start getting dumb. Why is that? It's the problem is that the words are in my head.
You just can't.
I just can't find them. I know that I know what it is. Legislative, judicial, and executive branch. He's part of the executive branch.
Correct. Good job.
Yeah.
All right.
Woo!
What is the process of water turning into a vapor?
Evaporation.
Correct. The tallest mammal on Earth.
Giraffe.
Correct. Who was the first person to step on the moon?
Neil Armstrong.
Who is from?
Who is from the United States of America. You mean like what state?
Yeah.
Was he from Ohio? Is that why you're saying that?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah,
Wapakoneta, Ohio.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I didn't know that.
All
That's,
right, here's-
that's something only people from Ohio would know.
Here's
Well,
that's the thing.
right offhand when you said it, I was just like Texas. He had to be from Texas.
Yeah, well, like that's the thing. Ohio's known for astronauts and the presidents.
Yeah.
We've had the most presidents, and I think one of the most astronauts that have come out of Ohio. Some people just really want to leave Ohio.
Yeah. Go figure.
All right, here's a layup. Who wrote the Harry Potter book series?
J.K. Rowling.
Yes.
Man, it took me a second there. I was like, oh, well, I'm going to get this wrong.
Um,
Thanks to my wife and child for reading all those books.
No, not going to ask you a math question. There's a lot of math.
No,
in
give
here.
it to me. At least one. I'll
Okay.
try it. I'll try it.
Okay, if a backyard is 50 feet long and 20 feet wide, how many square feet is the yard?
It's 50 feet long,
Correct.
20 feet wide.
Correct.
It's 1,000 square feet.
Correct.
Yeah, look at me go.
How many feet are there in 75 yards?
How many feet are in 75 yards? 225.
Good job.
That was in my head, too, just for everybody listening. I'm not cheating.
No, he's
My hands,
not.
my
Like,
hands were
yeah.
under the table.
In colonial America,
Okay.
what was the Sugar Act?
What was the Sugar Act?
Yep.
In colonial America, what was the Sugar Act? Man, I remember studying this and reading about it in school and stuff. The Sugar Act, it was a tax on sugar.
More specific. So it was a tax, but it was on two specific things, not sugar.
Oh,
I would say what would be like something that they would use in place of sugar in colonial times?
honey?
Closer.
Like syrup, like maple syrup type of stuff? Or
Starts with an M.
starts with an M?
I would say it's more prevalent in southern cooking and things like that.
Molasses?
Yes.
Okay.
Molasses and wine.
Interesting.
I didn't know that
It
one.
was just a tax on those things. Was it because people were using it so prevalent?
It's just like part of the whole like taxation of imported goods and stuff like that.
Ah,
'Cause
interesting. Good old England. I give you
What
1,776
is-
reasons why you guys got wrecked.
what is the plural form of the word deer?
The plural form of the word deer is deer.
Yes. It's just the fact that you were like,
No, I was like, there's nothing else you call a deer.
what is the longest river in the United States?
In the U.S.,
Yes.
the Mississippi.
No.
No? Colorado.
Nope.
I'm terrible with rivers. I don't know.
The Missouri River.
Missouri. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Let's do two.
I always think of things in terms of this is the greatest thing on the west side of the Mississippi, that type of thing. So
Yeah, two more. Whose picture is on the $5 bill?
the $5 bill is Abraham Lincoln.
Correct. And last one.
And just to confirm for everybody out there listening, I don't even have a $5 bill, so there's no way I could have looked at it.
What are the three states of matter?
Solid, liquid, and gas.
Correct.
Yeah.
See, you knew a lot more than you.
I do more than I thought I was going to. I still feel kind of dumb in some of those things. Because I hate the fact that, like, when you get put on the spot like that, there's words that are like rattling around in that brain somewhere. I just can't ever get them to come to like the foreground and stuff.
Well,
that just frustrates me.
It takes me back to when the last episode of the Dark Knight Morning Show that we did with the Toy Story trivia.
Yeah.
Where you were so bad because I kept rattling off the names,
gosh, yeah.
and our friend Andrew was frustrated because he was like, "I don't know what other questions to ask."
Yep. So,
all right, what do you got for me?
Today's world's largest. This will be a quick one. We can kind of run through this.
Okay.
I know we're going to throw it over to you for the last part of this one too. So, the world's largest today is the world's largest gavel. The world's largest gavel is located in Columbus, Ohio. And so, just to be clear for everybody that may not know, gavel is that big hammer thing that judges have so that when they slam it down, like after they made a decision and stuff, that's what a gavel is. So the world's largest gavel, it is a sculpture called Gavel.
Wow.
I know.
That's like, how did they come up with that name?
It will remain a mystery until the end of time. So Gavel is a 2008 sculpture by Andrew F. Scott, which great name for a guy to do something like that. He fits right in with like everything, Anyways, this is what I wanted to read to you. This is from the Wikipedia article.
Was this the one that you were like telling me like just this one sentence was
just this sentence is great. So I'm going to start back from the beginning. Gavel is a 2008 sculpture by Andrew F. Scott depicting a gavel.
I would have never guessed that.
That's what they wrote in the Wikipedia article. I'm like, who wrote this, man? Come on. Like,
shout out, kids, don't use Wikipedia as a legitimate source.
Like if you're going to use it as a source, just please do some research somewhere else too. So a gavel is a mallet used by judges to maintain order in a courtroom and to punctuate rulings, is the way that it has it worded here. So the work is located at the Ohio Judicial Center, which
makes sense.
Yes, it's the home to the Supreme Court of Ohio. And so it's situated in downtown Columbus at the Civic Center. And so the sculpture is one of about 170 works of art at the Judicial Center. It is the largest and most expensive of those works there. And here's where we get crazy.
Go on.
This gavel cost $200,000.
Why?
It is made out of stainless steel, and it is 12 foot by 15 foot by 30 foot. So it's 30 foot long, and then the head of this thing is like 12 foot by 15 foot. So it's
massive.
It's pretty good size. It's not small. So like when we make our way to the basket,
we can
see that. We'll go to Columbus and go check out this gavel as well. But so it's this really big stainless steel gavel, and supposedly, at least according to the pictures and according to what I saw online and stuff like that, they keep it pretty shined up. Like it's gleaming most of the time. But early renderings of the artwork that people saw, like when people would put up pictures of it and stuff early on, they had a plaque on the kind of cement surrounding around the gavel,
Right.
that said no justice, no, no peace. So it had that kind of inscription on the side of it and stuff, which I thought, like, it's kind of a missed opportunity, right? Like, if you're going to do the no justice, no peace, you should have at least, like, followed it up with the no KNOW.
Yeah, no justice,
no
no
justice, no peace. But they miss out on that. Apparently, it's just the no justice, no peace with, like, the NO spelling of no. Yep. So the world's largest gavel, Columbus, Ohio. Nothing.
Interesting.
I couldn't find anything else surrounding this gavel. Like, I was hoping that it was going to be, during the construction of it, it fell over and crushed a man, or something. That there would be something that would be interesting.
Some church
about
bought it and used it for what Gene to jump over.
Gene jumped the gavel. That would have been best case scenario.
Out of the gates of hell, escaping the judgment of
See, at least
it writes itself.
At least now we got a tie-in for crying out loud. Instead of, I jumped the world's largest horseshoe crab through the gates of hell. So, so that is the world's largest gavel. And so, we'll make our way down there, check that one out. That's a pretty easy
Most
one
definitely.
to hit for us. We both like the Columbus area anyways. We've talked about
yeah.
that before. Maybe we'll have to go, we'll hit the basket, we'll hit the gavel, and we'll hit Cabela's all in the same day. And maybe a little short trip to IKEA.
I would rather go to IKEA than Cabela's.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of that Cabela's down
My
there.
kid loves IKEA.
I love the food court.
Dude, same.
It's cheap.
People talk about it all the time, but those daggone Swedish meatballs.
I had the meatball parfait.
No, I've never had that.
So it's like mashed potatoes,
Yeah,
meatballs,
Yeah.
and then grape jelly on top.
I'm in.
Like it was like $2, and I'm like,
That's crazy. Yeah, but yeah, I had I'd only ever been to an IKEA one time before we moved to Ohio.
okay,
Since we've been up here, I've been to the IKEA in Columbus twice, and it wasn't until that second time that I ever actually tried any of the food. So I've only had it one time, but the Swedish meatballs,
well, it's funny
they live up
because
to the hype.
it's funny because like upstairs is like the full cafeteria.
Yeah.
But then like downstairs it's like a Costco, Walmart.
Yep, you can get everything down there. Yeah.
And it was kind of weird.
We went up and ate at the cafeteria stuff after we got done with kind of like touring through all the stuff. We
Which I
bought
kinda
a couple of things while we were there.
I was just
so.
saying, I admittedly got a little lost going through there because I'm like, which way did I go? Like, like they have like maps on the floor to like arrows on the floor to tell you where to go and everything, and it's just like
I got to one point where I was kind of like laser focused on getting to a certain section. I forget what it was. We needed so we bought like a thing to put our dog food in, and a couple other like random things that we needed for the house.
Right.
I got like laser focused on finding one specific like kitchen item thing or something, and so I got ahead of our group, like way ahead of our group, and so eventually I found the section just has like nothing but chairs, and I just found my favorite one and sat down and was like, all right, I'm lost in IKEA. I'm here for a while. And eventually the whole crew came rolling around. They were like, hey. And I was like, hey, you guys finally made it. Cool. Let's go.
yeah. I think I did that with the because I've always wanted like a standing desk
Yeah.
and but like a motorized one where you could
Right.
like adjust the height, and we kind of got like absorbed into that area for a long time.
Gotcha. Yeah, I need to find a standing desk at some point in time too.
So I have a question for you.
Okay. I love
I
questions.
know I know
Now that you've tested my intelligence already, we might as well do another
well,
question.
this is more of a story.
Okay.
But I want to know if you've heard of it before. I know I've mentioned it, but do you know anything about the dead internet theory?
No. So you mentioned this in a previous episode
Right.
that we did, and I'm not familiar with it.
Okay. So, and it's fitting that we just kind of talked about like how we use AI to come up with topics and things like that. And this is shout out to Red Web. This is where I originally heard this idea, because it's one of those things where like until people say like, even if it's a conspiracy theory, if it's whatever, like you don't necessarily with this one. It was one of the things where I would have never thought of it until I heard about it.
Right.
So the dead internet theory is a conspiracy theory that suggests the internet as we know it is largely a facade.
Okay, that's not terrifying at all.
Right. Well, it's not necessarily nefarious in any way, But the fact that a significant portion of online content and activity is generated by bots and AI rather than humans.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you think about it.
So I've heard some of this concept of people talking about that, like that a lot of the stuff that we see is no longer genuine in the sense that it's not
humanly
given
created
to us.
and stuff like that. Well, I mean, if you think about it, if you do a search, Homeboy sitting at Google isn't like loading your presets. Like it's all it's all
AI
like a bot
stuff,
that says, "Hey, we're going to look for these keywords and things like that," and it's going to give you the list.
Yeah.
But with the prevalence of AI, like for example, I use Gemini to do all my searches and stuff like that. But like I don't necessarily use it like to like create like a speech or things like that. Like I'll use it as like my initial search. So instead of going to Google and typing in stories about blah, I'll be like, tell me about so and so. So I ironically used AI to tell me a story about the dead internet theory.
Okay, real quick, I want to say like along those lines of like talking about not using AI for like certain purposes and stuff. That's become like a big thing in my world because a lot of preachers, when AI stuff started getting prevalent, started using AI to write their sermons for them.
See, there's one thing where like taking something like that and you have an idea.
Yeah.
And being like, hey, give me other topics on this or whatever. But like people flat out using Chat GPT to create an entire speech, sermon, whatever.
So that's one of the things that like I've tried to like super guard against because one of the things that I did kind of as an experiment when it came out and stuff like that is, I've always written my own sermons, right? So I'll sit down and our church does some topical and some like exegetical, meaning like we just look at a passage and pull out from the passage what it's saying to us. Some of the topical ones means that like you're taking a subject that the Bible speaks to and just telling what the Bible says about that. That's what our series that we're wrapping up soon is doing. And so one of the things that I kind of did as an experiment was like a couple of different times I wrote my sermon outlines, got them completely done, and then I went on to Chat GPT and put in, write me a sermon outline on X topic or on X passage, whatever I was teaching on, just to see
like what it would come up with.
Yeah, and I told Brooke like when we talked about it, I'm like, it actually like the stuff that it spat out was pretty close to the type of stuff that I had like already formulated in my outlines and everything. And so it is scary how good it can be in a sense.
Right.
But like, some of the big discussions around that is like, especially if you're in the church world, is are you letting the Holy Spirit lead? Or are you actually like doing your job as a pastor by having AI write your stuff for you? And my argument would be like, no, like you're kind of negating some of the personal side of what you're supposed to be as a pastor in that sense. And so, anyways, I just thought that was an interesting
and I know like schools, like universities and stuff are having to install software that like when papers and stuff get turned in, that will identify, which, honestly, like in that aspect, I'm not condoning having AI writing your stuff, but like if you know the material and you get stuck and you need a jumping off point, it's a great tool. If you have an idea in your head and you don't know how to articulate it, it's a great tool.
Yeah.
Now, I'm also not saying that you shouldn't use the tools available to you, because how many times did you get told when you were in math class in school, oh, you're never going to have a calculator in your pocket?
Yeah.
And it's like, I have a computer in my pocket.
We all carry one in our pocket now.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's just like we take for granted what we have.
Yeah.
And it's like, why not use those tools to help you? If you know the material.
I totally agree. I think it's a matter of like, especially for those of you that are younger out there, if you're still in school, the thing that I would encourage you in is you need to learn these things so that you're making yourself smarter all the time. You're getting more intelligent. But like Josh is saying is that like after you've kind of gotten through, your high school years and stuff like that, and you've learned these things on your own, like do the work, write your papers on your own, do all this kind of stuff. But, once we get into like adulthood and you've learned the basis of things and you kind of got your knowledge basis and all that type of stuff. I'm the same as you. I say, if especially like with the AI stuff, because it does take some intelligence to be able to formulate the question and the guides and stuff like that correctly for the AI to spit out what you actually need.
Right.
And so using those things as a tool and stuff like that, I'm not opposed to. Like I said, a lot of the times the posts and stuff that we put up for the podcast on our different social media things, I've asked AI to write posts. I've asked AI to create the images. We're using AI for a lot of that stuff, so I don't have an issue with that. I just think that when it comes to when you're doing something that needs to prove your intelligence, or when you're doing something that needs to show like that you need to be genuine from your heart, then don't use AI for that kind of stuff. Well,
that and like going back to like school and things, like it's essentially like plagiarizing. Like don't claim that you wrote something that AI wrote. Like I know like that was a hot topic with the like Screen Actors Guild. Like AI writing movie scripts and stuff.
Yeah.
Or like people supplementing AI and taking away jobs from writers and like I know like even in the graphic design realm.
Yeah.
Like a lot of things like people that would go to a graphic designer are jumping into AI and being like, hey, but it's more of a demand thing where like, hey, I need this now.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, and that is, like that's kind of the way of the world in a sense, is that when we develop something like that can get us what we want right then. I mean, it's the same reason why so many mom and pop stores and shops and stuff have closed down now, is because Amazon can get you the same thing for a cheaper price 2 days, that kind of deal.
Right.
You can get it right away, all that, the ordering online, eliminating people from working at different places like Walmart and stuff like that because of the availability of ordering things online. Like, all that type of stuff it's happened, and love it, hate it. Like I'm not a massive fan of it because it's, it's people's jobs and interactions with people that we got to have before and stuff that we don't have anymore. And my wife got her degree in graphic design. And so she's one of the ones that's being affected by that to a degree. She doesn't do graphic design as much anymore, but she, at the same time, she also will use AI at different times to help with things that she's doing.
Right, because like there are some things where you're like, I know what I want, but I don't know what I want. Like, I know, like I've been kicking around like tattoo ideas.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't know where to start, so I was like throwing images into.
We're getting matching Frogman tattoos.
Yes, especially after the convention. But yeah, so like kind of diving into the theory. Some key aspects of the theory. It basically posits that bots and AI generated content are vastly outnumber human created content.
Yeah. Yeah.
And these bots are designed to mimic human behavior, posting on social media, commenting on articles, and even creating entire websites. But I mean, obviously you see it on social media, like you have like bot accounts and stuff like that just like post junk onto random posts and things like that. And so that's not...
And it's becoming more and more prevalent these days. Yeah. I get that. We see it all over the place and stuff. And that's one of the things is like, again, let's go back to my statement that I've made many times now. It's like, number one, don't trust anything you see on the internet.
Right.
Like, you got to know it firsthand. Number two is like, I'm just so worried that we're headed towards...
Wall-E?
No. Well, yeah, I know for a fact that we're headed towards Wall-E, and we're getting closer and closer to idiocracy every moment of every day.
Hey, I like Crocs.
But it was what was the Fast and the Furious? We're headed towards eventually Fast and the Furious 27.5, and it's going to be nothing but an AI written movie that you're just going to be like, this is so ridiculous and over the top in so many different ways. Like beyond even what we've seen already. And it's going to be because freaking robots are examining the previous ones and writing new ones. It's like, come on.
Right. And then another thing is algorithm manipulation. Essentially, proponents argue that algorithms on social media and search engines are designed to amplify bot activity, making it appear more prevalent than it actually is.
Yeah.
It creates a feedback loop where bots interact with each other, further enforcing the illusion of a bustling online community. So this is basically saying that AI is interacting with AI.
Right.
And not people interacting.
An AI makes a post and puts it up. All the other AI bots, like it kind of sends out a message and says, everybody go like my post. All the AI bots are liking it, subscribing, all that kind of stuff. And so, so like that's why I say, like when you see on things and it's like, man, this post went viral. Like one of the crazy ones, I'll mention this because it boggles my mind, is everybody keeps resharing these pictures where it's like there's these 5 orphan-looking kids from Africa, right? And it's like, squint your eyes and you see Jesus.
Right.
And so you squint and you can see Jesus. Well, yeah, go count the number of fingers and toes that those kids have, or the missing limbs and stuff, because they're not shaped like normal human beings. When you look past just face value at these pictures, you realize, oh, this is AI created to make the image look like Jesus his face is there or something. And I just want to encourage you, if you're out there and you're hearing my voice right now, stop sharing that crap. No one needs to see it. First off,
right.
Number two, just like take a closer look. It's disturbing.
Take a half like one of the, I remember there's this picture. It's like the longer you stare at it, the more disturbing it is.
Yeah,
like,
it gets worse and worse and worse.
Because like you have images and stuff like because AI cannot generate like fingers, teeth are a really hard thing.
Yeah.
Proportions are another hard thing that AI can't get.
Well, and if you incorporate any kind of movement in whatsoever, it can't do movement either.
Right, or text.
Yeah.
Text is another weird thing that you would think that AI would be able to understand, and obviously people think, it's the government and everything else.
Yeah.
Not going to go that crackpot. Essentially, this gained traction all the way back in 2010, 10 plus years ago, 10, 15 years ago.
That's wild.
Where, forums, social media, the rise of sophisticated AI models capable of generating human-like text and images. Obviously there's people on both sides of this, and it's one of those things where it's like, yes, AI can be a very, very valuable tool.
Yeah.
But
right.
It's like anything. Like
it can also be the devil.
Right. It's the devil.
Yeah. Devil's in that computer there.
But it's just one of those things where it's like, I would have never thought of that.
Yeah, becoming a thing.
Like even like posts, like scrolling through Facebook, Instagram, whatever, like you see all those like targeted ads and things like that. Those are all bots and stuff like that, like based on your search history and everything. And it's weird to think of. But yeah, I was, just since we've been talking about AI a lot, I figured that would be a fun thing to kind of bring up.
So the funny thing is as we're sitting here talking, Brooke, she can hear me because she's down there, but she just sent me a thing and she said I needed to pull this up. So I'm going to open this video real quick. Oh, that's loud. It says I use an AI filter to see how my child will age, and I'm crying. So it shows like for the listeners out there, it's like it starts with a kid, a little redheaded kid, and it shows him like growing up and aging and like kind of gaining weight and getting bigger and what he's going to look like as he gets older, which he's like John Candy right now.
John Goodman?
Or John Goodman, sorry, yeah. Just transitioned over to like an old man with white hair, but it shows like
that's
the stages.
Crazy.
Yeah, but it shows like this kid grow up and become an adult and stuff, and it's AI using all of it, like height, the whole 9 yards.
And the thing is, the kid's still never seen an ounce of sunlight.
Yeah, right. True ginger the whole way through. He's got red hair, pale skin, the whole 9 yards. But it's wild, like all this stuff that like AI is doing now and what it's capable of, and yeah, so. For those of you out there, man, just, again, kids, if you're younger, I just want to encourage you, don't get too far into the AI stuff. Like, develop your knowledge, get smart, like, learn. If you're going to be a master of something, be a master of it. Really learn it yourself. Don't pretend through AI and stuff. And then for adults out there, man, just, like, you being genuine is going to mean more to the world than you just trying to seem like you're doing something great because AI wrote things for you, made your speeches, whatever it may be. Yep, that's our 2 cents on that one. So I want to remind you guys, that was cool though. Thank you for telling me about the dead internet, because that's kind of crazy. That's
like
wild.
Basically over the next few years, like 10 plus years, like there will be no human activity on the internet.
That's crazy. I believe it, but it's crazy.
Right.
Which begs the question though, are we going to like get back to a point where we just start saying like, I'm not going to exist online in that sense. I'm going to become, it's just going to be us together, and we'll let the robots have their own world out there, which it gets terrifying because now we're thinking
Terminator,
it's Terminator
iRobot,
like it's going to be that eventually, but hopefully not. We'll see. So, or at least hopefully we'll be gone by the time that happens.
Lord willing.
So today, I just want to remind you guys as we get ready to close out of all the things we typically talk about. We want you guys to interact with us. Number one. So if you've got feedback on anything we talk about in an episode, if you've got comments to leave, if you've got suggestions on topics and stuff, we want to hear from you. Go leave us a comment. If you haven't left a review yet, go leave us a 5-star review. We kind of jokingly say this every time. But if you're planning on leaving anything below a 5-star review, just do us a favor and don't do that. If you want to leave us a 5-star review and in that 5-star review, give us your feedback in a sense. Like if
Right.
you want to critique us, whatever, we're happy to receive your feedback. We've received corrections and made those on the episodes.
Right.
We're happy to get that stuff, but if you leave us a 5-star review, it really helps us out because it puts us in front of more people so they can listen to the podcast as well. And again, like we've said it from the beginning, our goal in this is not to become famous or to become rich or anything along those lines. Or we just want to have fun doing a
Yeah,
podcast,
exactly.
and we hope that more people will get to laugh and have some joy interjected into their life as a result of it. So the more you like, the more you comment, you follow us on the different platforms. So if you're on Apple Podcasts, if you're on Spotify, YouTube, if you listen on Podbean, because there's actually a few people that listen on there.
Oh,
and
really?
stuff. Yeah. And so no matter where you are, if you'll follow us, listen to us on there and give us reviews. And then on the social media platforms, we're on Facebook and we're on Instagram. We'd love to have you come and follow us on those and interact there with the posts that we put up as well. All those are helpful to us. And
Right.
we really do look forward to reading your comments and hearing your feedback on things.
Yeah, and even if you just have some random questions for us, like just ask us some questions. And
Yeah, that's a good one. One of the things we wanted to open up
Yeah.
was for you guys to ask us questions.
like a Q&A.
Yep.
If we can get enough questions for us, we'll do an entire Q&A episode.
Yeah.
Like I think, we'll do like a couple of our little like would you rather stuff, but I kind of want to do a Q&A episode.
We have one stipulation on that is you're not allowed to specify which Josh
Yes.
you're asking a question to.
Right.
You just have to ask the question.
So you have to hope that the right Josh answers the question.
Exactly. So we'll see how that goes. But leave us some questions. We would love to hear from you guys. And other than that, we will catch you guys in the next episode. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye. My kids started talking last night about the girl from Empanada? Is that the name of it?
Empanada, like the thing you used to get at Taco Bell that they took away from us. That and the Choco Taco.